Hey everybody, welcome back to the Chandie Speaks podcast. It's your girl Chandie, trying to figure out which voice I'm trying to use on this episode right here. Kind of silly this morning. Slightly delirious. You know, I'm working this night gig, so my sleeping hours have been all out of whack lately, but we made it. We made it back another week. Got through the intro. The intro to these things, because I'm like introverted kind of and weird. It's like the hardest part. Introverts know. But we got through it. We got through the intro. Back. I'm still here in beautiful Sedona, Arizona. I am very tired, but I'm going to push through this episode. I think the levels on my episodes have been sounding like weird the last couple runs, so I don't know how I sound right now. Like this seems like good right here, right? Is this good? I'm overthinking it right now. Today is Tuesday, April 28th. So this will be for Wednesday. Okay, I like this right here. This is my radio voice right here. This will be for Wednesday, April 29th. This will be the last podcast here in April, rounding out a full year of the Chandie Speaks podcast. It's kind of seductive, right? This voice. I'm being silly. Oh, God. Anyway, yeah, this will be the last episode for the month of April, which will round out my full year of doing the Chandie Speaks podcast. Shout out to all 10 listeners, which is great. Spotify named me. What did Spotify name me on my podcast wrap up for 2025? It was a 2025 instant hit show. The Chandie Speaks podcast was a 2025 instant hit show. It was a top 10 show for 15 people. And here we are rounding out a year. So, yeah, thank you for listening. Thank you for coming back. I'm not doing anything here. I'm just trying to get through this episode because like it's something that I said I was going to do, and I'm doing it. I have a couple guest stars lined up in the near future, but my schedule is, just needs to align with their schedule, and then I need to figure out this microphone situation, my technical difficulties. But mostly it's just been me coming on here for a whole year. Okay, what did I want to talk about this week? I'm feeling really chill. It's really chill. It's been kind of chilly here in Sedona. Weather report, traffic report. Traffic is kind of dying down a little bit. I think we're going into like a little slow period, which has been nice. Some of the tourists are going back home. Tourists are flocking back home. We get little spurts. I work in the hotel and hospitality industry. I work in the bed and breakfast for like a couple hours a week doing housekeeping, and then I do night auditing at a hotel. So I spend a lot of time around tourists, a lot of time around people who just come in and out, don't know their way around Sedona, and have painted whatever picture of Sedona in their own head of the experience and how it's like before they get here. And it's so weird because I forget that I live in a beautiful fucking place. I forget that I live in a place that a lot of people have only seen or heard about. Meanwhile, I've never heard about Sedona before I got here. It was just like all random to me. I just came across Sedona. Like someone told me, hey, you should go to Sedona. You would like it there. And I'd never heard of it. And then I just put it in my GPS from, where was I coming from? Albuquerque. I was driving from Albuquerque and I was like, let me just go to this place that someone recommended to me. Never heard about it. And I forget that I live in such a beautiful place and people come here and like there was this Elvis thing that's going on. Apparently Elvis, the Elvis Presley has apparently some big history here in Sedona of all places. Who knew? Like we had a lot of visitors in from the UK, from like somewhere over there, you know, from the UK come in dressed head to toe in like Elvis gear. It's kind of funny to see, but interesting how like other countries like cosplay American culture, Americans, you know, isn't that? I think it's funny. And I work in the hotels, so I see them when they're like, you know, getting ready for the day and they're going out into the world as, you know, tourists from a whole other side of the world. And they're dressed like in American flags and like all this Elvis stuff. There was like some kind of event going on this past weekend, apparently, but we had a big group of them. And yeah, it's almost like watching like another country like cosplay your country. I don't know if it's funny to me. It's like in passing when I'm seeing these people get ready for the day. Something like some movie that he did in like the 60s or 70s was filmed here in Sedona. Who knew? I guess I could look it up right now. Okay, I'm just going to do a general Google search of like the relevance between Elvis Presley. I just Googled Elvis Presley, Sedona, Arizona. That's what it was. It says Elvis Presley filmed the 1968 movie Stay Away, Joe, in Sedona, Arizona in 1967. What the hell? I had no idea. I've never seen that movie or heard of it. Growing up, I was kind of an Elvis Presley fan. But, you know, as I got older, realizing just how much of the music was stolen from... I get it, I guess. You know, music, people just circulate music all the time, but it felt like it was, now that I'm older, it felt inappropriate for him to be making the music that he did during that time. But anyway, I did like Elvis Presley a lot growing up. My family lived in, well, my direct family, my mom, we lived in Chicago area, Skokie. But, you know, my aunt and cousin, they lived in Memphis, Tennessee, which I'm pretty sure is where Graceland was. Pretty sure if it wasn't in Memphis, it was in Nashville. Either way, I remember going to Graceland as a kid, like the home of Elvis Presley, and just really loving it. But that was before I realized what was going on. So yeah, Elvis Presley filmed the movie Stay Away Joe in Sedona, Arizona in 1967. Really interesting stuff here. Blase. The Elvis House. Wow, now this I didn't know. The Elvis House, which is an abandoned house, is a house that's built into the Red Rocks in a remote canyon, rumored to have had special phone lines installed by Elvis for his mother. And that's around here somewhere. Scenes were shot around Sedona, including the Bradshaw Ranch area used for the Bitter Creek set. So this is just all about the movie in itself. And I guess something about people in the UK, they're like crazy about the guy. So there's that. I saw somewhere that passport stamps are going to be discontinued. Is this a thing? I remember looking it up. Let me see if I have it in my notes. It says, yes, physical passport stamps are being phased out globally in favor of digital biometric entry and exit systems designed to increase security and speed up border crossings. And I remember reading that, and it kind of broke my heart a little bit, because that's like, I'm sure anyone who travels frequently out of the country, like part of the thrill for me is getting a new passport stamp. And I get it. I guess they're trying to what does it say? Increase security and speed up border crossings. Are we that not like attached to the moment right here, right now? That we're trying to just speed up like a really cool thing of just getting into another country, getting entry into another country and getting that stamp of approval. Let me finish reading. Okay, it says by April 10th. So this was a couple weeks. I remember I got this for last week, but I didn't have time to touch on it. So this is kind of relatively like old news. It's a couple weeks old, but by April 10th, 2026, 29 European countries will fully replace manual stamps with automated face and fingerprint scans. Oh my God. What kind of times are we living in? Oh my God. Am I just too old? Is this what the kids want? The kids are like, what the fuck is the big deal about getting a passport stamp? I feel like it's someone who came up with that idea. It's just someone who's never been anywhere. We should just get rid of all of them. Yeah, it says 29 European countries will fully replace manual stamps with automated face fingerprint scans. Other nations like Australia, Singapore, and the US have already adopted similar digital systems. That's crazy. Maybe it's because people aren't actually visiting those places. I don't know. As much? Are they? That's just wild. I think that's like the biggest news that I had this week. I don't know how I feel about it. I really like getting the passport stamp. That's the whole goal. My passport's about to expire. Not about to expire. I got until 2027. But I'm really attached to those stamps, and shoot, my first international tattoo, my first time getting a tattoo in another country was a passport stamp. It was in Costa Rica. It was like a few weeks ago. I still can't even really believe that like a month ago today, like I'm still like recently I've been to another country, and it's just so wild. Shit, if all I got was the passport stamp, I'd be satisfied. And if I just went and did nothing. So yeah, I'd be really bummed out if they got rid of them all for like fingerprint scans. That's a bummer. Such a bummer. I've only been talking for like 10 minutes. Barely. And I got nothing really going on in my life. This is the time of the year where I'm putting my head down and I'm going to work. I'm putting my nose to the pavement. I'm fucking grinding, hustling, whatever the kids are saying these days. Minding my own business. Very uneventful, which is how I like it. But it doesn't really make for great content, huh? Doesn't really make for great content. All I have now, let me see. What else is going on? I have not taken great notes this week. I just took screenshots and just threw them into a fucking folder. I was like, here, maybe talk about this. I've been seeing a lot of, in my algorithm this week, I've been seeing a lot of, I should have done more research before I go in on this, because this would be a great discussion topic, I feel. But I see a lot of women giving 100% custody to the men, to the fathers, and men getting mad. It's like women are throwing the Uno reverse card on the fathers of the children, and men are kind of shocked about it. Like, it's just kind of wild to me how two adult human beings who knew the entire time before doing the act of having intercourse, they knew the entire time that you could potentially bring a kid into their life. Like, I'm pro-life, so let me just get this. This is just like my point A sidebar. Like, you knew that a kid would be the result of having unprotected intercourse, sex, right? So they both knew that. A whole ass life. But they chose to do it anyway, chose to bring the baby to term and bring life into the world. And both of them, and so that's like just the crazy part, how like two adults who know that they're going to make a kid don't want the kid. They're both like fighting to give custody away instead of fighting to keep custody. And that's just so weird. We don't need any more of those kind of adults in the world making those kind of decisions, I believe. Because, yeah, it started out with men not wanting to pay child support to the woman. This whole fucking thing, this is why I'm out of the dating world, you guys. This whole thing is just so bass-ackwards, and it's like a weird fucking cycle that is just built on trauma and toxicity, and it just keeps going down. Because, okay, the men are now, okay, they're not wanting to even get into relationships with the women, and the women are not wanting to get into the relationships with the men. The women are not wanting to get into the relationships with the men because they don't want their heart broken. Because, you know, men cheat, I guess, right? They don't want their heart broken. They can pretty much gamble on the man breaking their heart than not breaking their heart, right? And the men don't want to get into relationships with the women because they don't want to get caught. They don't want to get caught breaking the girl's heart, which they know they're going to do because it means that she would then be entitled to like half of his money or all of his money or something like that. Literally, I looked up that fact. That's the biggest fear that men have of getting married is getting caught cheating and having to give away their money. Lose all their money. Why? Here's an idea though. Like, why don't you just like not cheat? That's like a weird fear to have. Like, think about it. Okay, so they get into these relationships. For whatever reason, it doesn't work out, and they have this baby as a result of their marriage, right? Well, I saw this one girl make a statement in court. I saw saying like, I'm leaving this relationship with what I came into this relationship with, which was no kid. Which was funny. So the guys, they're like, okay, I don't want to give this woman half. And the girl throws the Uno reverse card and's like, here, you can have the kid then. Neither of them want the kid. They just don't want to, like he didn't want the kid. He just didn't want to give up his money. He just thought that taking care of the kid would be easier than giving up half of his money. Not realizing that it would be even more easy if you didn't have the fucking kid in the first place that you didn't want. Right? That's just my thoughts on that. So I'm kind of mixed between, you know, it all comes down to like, yeah, I'm anti-abortion, pro-life. So I'm not going to advocate for women like just going off and getting pregnant and then getting an abortion. That's just irresponsible for me, I think. But I am going to advocate for just like not having kids in the first place if you don't want the kid. That's just that. And if you end up having the kid that you don't want, then you got to make a decision. Either you're both going to work it out or one of you is going to take custody of the kid and that's that. I just think it's funny that more and more it's been coming across my algorithms a lot lately. What was the last caption I read? This guy wrote, the men are mad. This guy wrote, I got custody of my kids. Now my baby mom don't want to help me. Well, yeah, That's what custody means. So now the mom pays the child support, right? Oh, how the tables have turned. Either way, like, how is this benefiting the child is what it comes down to. Y'all are just selfish. I can't do it. Like, the world is kind of going crazy right now, but I'm so grateful. I'm thankful. I wake up and I'm like, I'm so glad I didn't have a baby with any of my exes. I'm so glad, because I would be dealing with this kind of stuff. And I'm not coming down on the people who are doing it, but, doing it right. Shout out to all the mature people who are doing it right. Because why should she keep the kid just because she birthed it if she doesn't want it? And if you're going to fight for 100% custody of your child, then be prepared to take care of your child 100% of the time. Whoever you are. And if you're not willing to do that or make those sacrifices, then as the late Charlie Kirk used to say, take responsibility for your orgasms. Okay? Maybe address that. Maybe you need to have some serious lifestyle changes. Because at the end of the day, the baby is the one that's getting all that trauma. And that's the future. Just thought that was funny to me. I don't know why that was coming up in my algorithms a lot. What else? I saw this one post today that it's in Australia. In a suburb 40 minutes outside of Sydney, Australia. I'm just going to move on from that. I thought that was a good rant, right? This might be a short podcast, but I don't really have much to say. But in a suburb 40 minutes outside of Sydney, a single 5-acre property stands as a defiant island in a sea of modern construction. I'm reading this post from something I saw on Instagram. Basically, this house is just like surrounded by all of this gentrification, all these properties, and it refused to sell for $50 million. So they just built around their house, which I thought was, I don't know how I feel about it. It's kind of weird. The 𝘗𝗵𝗶𝘀 family has spent years watching their quiet farmland transform into a high-density housing development, but they have refused to budge, most recently turning down a staggering $50 million offer for their land. While every other neighbor sold out years ago, the 𝘗𝗵𝗀s have maintained their expansive lawn and 650-foot driveway, forcing developers to build hundreds of cookie-cutter homes right up to their fence line. The picture is just funny to me. It's a surreal sight from the air, rows of tightly packed rooftops suddenly stopping at a massive lush green oasis. And also, side note, this property that they have has no trees or anything. It's just literally just a house and like a bunch of fucking grass. They could put some gardens up. They could do so much with that land, but they just left it. And yeah, people, the city or wherever, they just start building around their house. Good morning, Ashes. My dog just woke up from our nap. We went on a walk earlier. Why did I even screenshot that? I didn't even think that was that even interesting enough to mention? It's in Australia. And I'm looking at this house and it's like a 2-story home. It's got a 3-car garage. It looks like either a horse shed or a greenhouse or some kind of off-house, second house on the other side. So much space, and it's like perfectly mowed. I don't know if it's real or not. That's what I should have looked up. I found it on The Growing Investor on Instagram. That's probably my week, you guys. I'm so ready for a nap. So ready for a nap. I'm trying to go to Africa. Real fucking talk. Do I have any TikTok posts this week? Going off in the comments. Not so much. I haven't really been poking the bear so much. I made one post a day ago, but it was definitely something that I had in the clip for a long time that I don't really have the energy or enough information to sort of like go into it, but just because it did get quite a few hidden comments on TikTok, I'll just read through it and just to fill in this space. It's a political post, and you guys know how I feel about that. I'm not, like I said, I'm not mostly for the most part uninformed or just not informed or misinformed or uninformed. So there's that. A lot of this is coming from something that sounds nice. I'm sure there is evidence to back it up. But yeah, it's just one of those fires that I set on TikTok and walked away from. I'm actually and I know I had a lot of hidden comments, which means that a lot of people left inappropriate responses. When you think about it, that's kind of what this politics stuff is meant to do. It's meant to get people all riled up and hot and bothered by words and their own interpretation of these words. That's based on their own past experiences and blase. But the post, I'm just going to read the post, read the comments, get to the J. Cole weekly fall-off review, and then get the fuck out of here. The post says, leftists have a notorious reputation for toxic empathy. And for anyone who's late to the party, I don't identify with any of this shit. I mean, if you couldn't tell already, I don't resonate with any of it. I just live my life. I don't vote. I do not vote. I don't care. I'm not a part of the program. But I do know that words are interpreted how they are, and people, they feel how they feel about them. So I wrote, leftists have a notorious reputation for toxic empathy. And I'm just going to read some of the comments. It's a public post. If you're not already following me, you can just go follow and read them yourself. Chandie Speaks, same as the Spotify and YouTube, Instagram, everywhere else. It's Chandie Speaks. Danny Boop responded, okay, with a question mark. Shorty TLK, Shorty Talk, writes, if empathy is a sin, sin boldly. And they had a meme that they added to their comment of some guy with a quote underneath him that says, your yes to God requires your no to all injustice, to all evil, to all lies, to all oppression and violation of the weak and poor. It says 𝘗𝙤𝙤𝙀𝙁 German pastor, theologian, author, and anti-Nazi descendant. The fuck does that mean? Adding like all these words. These are just a lot of words, it seems like. 1906 to 1945. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't have the energy or information to go in, but I kind of let people have this one just for the algorithm's sake. So, moving on to the next comment. Goblin writes, can you define toxic empathy? Okay, I know I can define toxic empathy, like in a nutshell. It's exactly how it sounds. It's basically like having so much empathy for another person or another person's situation that it affects your life in a negative way. And I could give examples, but I personally, I try and stay away from that, so I can't give personal experience examples. But I feel like that's generally, in a nutshell, that's what toxic empathy is. Maybe, how about like when I wanted to help out people, but while helping them out, having empathy for their situation, I hurt myself in the process. And there's many situations I'm sure everyone can relate to that, right? So I think Goblin was just asking, can you define toxic empathy for a discussion topic? Because they could have very well just Googled it themselves if they really wanted to know. But I didn't go in and explain that to her. Or them. Looks like a her in their picture. Chanel Heed commented, "What red pill pipeline bullshit is this?" Some of these people in the whole political thing, doesn't matter, both left, I'll give it to them. They have some really funny comebacks that I've never heard, because it's coming from a hurt place for the most part, at least in my experience. Oh, and someone responded to that comment. Wow, I'm literally reading these comments for the first time. Chanel Heed writes, "What red pill pipeline bullshit is this?" And 𝙗𝙗𝙗𝙗𝙗 responded to her, because I don't respond to this kind of stuff. 𝙗𝙗𝙗𝙗𝙗 responded, "She's actually doing her best to find center field, but she's still on the left side. I'm proud of her." Okay. I don't know what any of these people just make up their own shit. Like, I don't put out my political thing, like what side I'm on, because there is no side. The only time you'll hear me talk about political is just like, I think I'm just trying to be an observer of the whole thing. But I don't understand. People have their whole identities wrapped around their political identity, and that's cool. Okay. Sam Patricio. I'm just going to finish reading these comments. I think they're kind of funny. Sam Patricio writes, "I agree. We need to stop trying to empathize with MAGA people. They're a lost cause." Okay. People are actually having their own arguments in my comment section right now. This is funny. I'm literally reading this for the first time. I think it's thoroughly entertaining. You guys probably don't find it entertaining. Sam Patricio writes, "I agree. We need to stop trying to empathize with MAGA people. They're a lost cause." And then Master Chief Queefs responds to that saying, "I really try with the, quote, you wouldn't kiss a dem billionaire boot. Why throat the conservatives and they never bite." Okay, and then 𝙗𝙗𝙗𝙗𝙗 is back all over this thread right now, saying, "MAGA people are just people that operate with mostly the right side of brain, where libs operate with the left side of the brain. So wouldn't the correct answer be both sides are equally right and wrong? And wouldn't that be how the powers to be control all of us, but letting society function from only the left or the right? Wouldn't the correct reality be an equal balance of both sides?" I feel like he's spitting. I feel like bro's kind of spitting right now. But no one responded. I think that was the end of the conversation with that. I like those kind of comments, like mic drop comments. You know what I mean? I think bro was spitting just there. Next, and also note, when no one likes your shit, but no one has anything else to say, you were probably spitting some real shit. Probably. Just saying. No one liked that comment. This comment's from Ani Debbie. She writes, "You're morally depleted if you believe empathy is toxic." And then someone, Bookie, responded to her saying, "Empathy is made up." Is it? Is empathy made up? Okay. Let's walk with that for a little bit. I mean, I guess everything's made up when you think about it. Okay. Maybe that's true. Just for the sake of this argument, maybe empathy is made up. But so is everything else, right? She says, "You're morally depleted if you believe empathy is toxic." Yeah, it can be. You can care about someone so much that you hurt yourself in the process. I believe that's like, everyone can relate to that in some way. A lot of people can. How about that? And then Bookie responded, empathy is made up, which I don't know. I don't know if it is or it isn't. And if it is, who gives a shit? Right? I don't think it's a bad thing. You know, there's a lot of things, other things that are made up that are inherently just bad, right? But I don't know. What's bad for me may not be bad for someone else. I can't get into these circles. Then I'd start talking in circles. You know, obviously the person doing the bad thing doesn't think it's bad. You know what I mean? But the Sky Daddy responded to that comment all over this comment thread saying, LMFAO, we could say the same thing about toxic masculinity. So ain't that a pot calling the kettle black? Oh, I guess he's referring to toxic empathy versus toxic masculinity. So if you believe empathy is toxic, then you're morally depleted. So I guess if you think, he's trying to say that if you think masculinity is toxic, then you're morally depleted. I feel like there are lots of parts of masculinity that is actually toxic. But is that just... I will have to think about that one. I don't agree or disagree. I think most people's experience with masculinity is toxic. I think he was reaching with that one. He was spitting on the last comment, but I think he was trying to reach with that one. Bless his heart. Phil is back writes, for fascists, leftists would responding to the original post of leftists have a notorious reputation for toxic empathy. Phil is back responded, for fascists. I think that's just like a fun word that people like to throw around a lot. I think it started out with something like I saw a big uptick in people throwing out the word fascism and fascists right around 2016, right when Donald Trump was running for the first time, right? Now everyone knows this word, and I'm hearing it in people who I know have never even spoken like that ever. And now you know the word fascism. And I think people just kind of throwing it around like it's like a trendy word and it's supposed to be a buzzword. One of those words that makes people feel a certain way when they hear it because it's just been said so many fucking times out of context or misspoken. Like, you know, so that I never really take, maybe I'm ignorant, but I never really take people seriously when their response to something that is probably hard to hear is, oh, that's fascism. But the Sky Daddy responded appropriately asking, can you tell me your definition of it? Which I love that he asked that, because that's my first thought when someone ever uses the word, like, what do you think that is? What do you think that word means? And of course they didn't respond, and that was the end of the discussion. So, okay, the next commenter. This turned out to be a funny thread for me, I think, right? Filling in some space. I think it's entertaining. I can't read this person's username because it's like in a weird language or script text, but 𝘁𝗵𝗶𝘀, I can't even try. This person, don't know what it is, writes, the right has a notorious reputation for the lack of any empathy at all. Don't know what that means. And then next commenter, 𝐷𝗫𝗵𝗶𝘀 says, y'all just love to make shit up. You can't even let language evolve. It's all fake news. I don't know what that means. What do they mean by that? You can't even let language evolve. It's all fake news. I don't know, but your boy, the Sky Daddy, again, responded, being able to identify what toxic empathy is growth. Failing to even look is to fail yourself, because now you're failing to look at yourself. And if you can't even look at yourself and be honest with yourself, what makes you think you're going to have the correct empathy to give to others? What? Woo! Giving someone toxic empathy only comforts them as they keep marching off into the flames. This bro is spitting. Hot fire on my comment thread. I love it. I'm here for it. Y'all can speak amongst yourself. I made this post a day ago, and I just sort of like I said, I posted it and just walked away from it. And I'm just now opening it. I opened it this morning for the first time and saw that there was a lot of hidden comments. And I'm like, all right, maybe I'll speak about that. So this is my first time actually going through it all right now. The last comment was made 3 hours ago. I'm going to read that comment again in response to the first comment because I thought bro was spitting right there. 𝙤𝗵𝗶𝘀𝙁 writes, y'all just love to make shit up. You can't even let language evolve. It's all fake news. The 𝙬𝙤𝙀 responded, being able to identify what toxic empathy is growth. Failing to even look is to fail yourself because now you're failing to look at yourself. And if you can't even look at yourself and be honest with yourself, what makes you think you're going to have the correct empathy to give to others? Giving someone toxic empathy only comforts them as they keep marching off into the flames. Oh, ugh. That was fucking nasty work right there. I love that comment. OGDB1971 writes, all the while, your party's trying to get rid of the word empathy, literally. Don't know what that means. No one's trying to get rid of the word empathy, fam. And last but not least, Sarah Smile 1001 says, God forbid someone tries to walk in his footsteps instead of kissing the ground he walked on. All right. Well, that was literally it. I got not much to say about that, but the Sky Daddy did. Seems like that guy's has a lot to say. So go, I guess, follow his TikTok page as well. That's basically it, you guys. Yeah, that's it. Let's get into the J. Cole Fall Off Weekly Review. If you are not a J. Cole fan, this is the end of the podcast for you. Go like, comment, share, subscribe. Blase everywhere. And let's get into this Fall Off Weekly Review. Okay, I do have a few notes on J. Cole this week. It seems as though there has been some kind of, I'm just gonna speak on it just because it seems like there has been some kind of some J. Cole hate train that's been going around. At least that's been going on in my algorithms. I know this is whatever. A lot of people are coming out and saying that he is basically not who he is appearing to be. Now, I'm a J. Cole fan, right? But at the same time, I also like, I like standing and searching for truth. I think I'm a truth seeker. So if it looks like what it is, it probably is, if you know. So yeah, I've been watching a lot of J. Cole interviews since I got back from Costa Rica. Finally, I've been making time to watch these interviews. And I'm just seeing like little patterns in his speech and the way that he talks about certain topics when it comes to like his level of fame or his relationships with other rappers. And yeah, from an honest perspective, me trying to just look at things honestly, it may seem like, yeah, the boy is kind of fence sitting a little bit, just a little bit. But I feel like, and I'm not trying to make excuses for anyone, but I feel like that's just something that they all may have to do in order to live in that kind of life. Who knows, like, who really knows who he is for real, other than who he is presenting himself as when he's behind a camera or behind a mic, you know? For example, the infamous, any J. Cole fans know this was like big news the last couple of weeks, the infamous line where he physically said in a podcast, I forget which one, but he said that he does not believe that he is the greatest rapper of all time. And it's just so, I don't know. I feel like you can say whatever you want. You can believe whatever you want. But it's just very anti-hip hop of him to say, I believe. Very uncharacteristically. It's like not a characteristic of a hip hop artist, in my opinion. And I think in history's opinion, like how many rappers go out there on the mic and multiple records, dozens of records all across the world saying, I'm the greatest in your lyrics. I'm the greatest rapper of all time. You're showing it. Your skill set is improving. But when someone asks you, do you believe you're the greatest rapper of all time? It's sort of like less than humble. It's almost as if like you don't even really believe the shit that you're saying. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. I want to believe that he believes that he is the greatest rapper of all time, because I want to believe that he believes what he is rapping is the truth. And if he can't believe that what he's even rapping is the truth, could he even be the truth himself? Am I talking in circles? Does that make sense? That's the only thing that kind of like, yeah, it's cool to be humble, but fam, that's literally what you made your career out of, is saying how unhumble you are. Literally, one of his last songs was, these niggas be thinking I'm humble as hell, not knowing I'm bougie. And it's like, which one is it? Are you the greatest rapper of all time in your head and your reality? Or are you just trying to not hurt someone else's feelings by saying you're not the greatest rapper of all time? Like, that's just kind of what people say. Tupac said it. Actual great rappers, in my opinion, actual great rappers have said it and have been able to back it up. But I feel like that's just part of the culture. Like, everybody says it. It's just like, this is what you do. So I feel like I get what he's trying to do by not trying to offend anybody or discredit anybody else's hard work and their skill. But he did it in kind of a way where it disappointed his fans. I believe a lot of his fans were disappointed just by that one line in that interview. Okay, moving on to my other J. Cole news. I have been watching reactions of people listening to the Fall Off, which I just love. I love listening, and not just the Fall Off. I love watching other people listen to a song that I love, listen to music that I love. I love watching people's reactions to songs that I love. And this past couple weeks, I've been watching reactions of people listen to the Fall Off for the first time. Obviously, these are like a couple months old. I'm a couple months off because the Fall Off has been out since February. But I just thought that was cool. I like listening to people or watching people listen to the Fall Off. It was there's this one channel on YouTube. I think, I always forget their name, but they're really good reviewers. I think they're honest. And Vegas or something is in their name. It's two guys. And they listened to Safety from the Fall Off for the first time. Or at least I watched the reaction to when they did, which was a few months ago. And watching their reaction, for some reason, it made my heart smile a little bit. It made me cry. It made that song seem like just like deeper to me. I've added Safety to the list of songs on the Fall Off that have made me cry. And it was just an unexpected one. I think the full list is Bombs in the Ville, definitely made me fucking cry. Bombs in the Ville, Safety, Quick Stop, I Love Her Again, and The Let Out. All those songs made me cry on the Fall Off. Go listen to the Fall Off, get your own opinion on it. But Safety has been on the come up for me, I think. What else? J. Cole wise, I listened to some fan who made the entire album of the Fall Off. A couple fans have made recreations of the album. One guy made it completely sped up. Another guy made it completely slowed down. I listened to part of both of them, and I think it's pretty dope. Some songs on the Fall Off are better, I think, slowed down, like Bombs in the Ville. And then some songs are better sped up, like Poor Thing or 39 Intro sped up. Ooh! Oh my God. Could you imagine? What else do I have? I'm going to get into my numbers, and I think that'll be it. I missed my review for last week, so I'll read the stats for April 13th through April 19th, and then April 20th through April 26th. I have not been listening to much of any kind of music on Spotify this past couple weeks, mainly because I've been feeling inspired ever since I saw that I was getting myself into like a J. Cole rabbit hole. I'm still kind of in that J. Cole rabbit hole, if you can already gather that from these last few minutes of every podcast I've done this year. But I felt myself like deep into this J. Cole rabbit hole, like sometime in the middle of last week, where I'm like, yeah, the guy's good, but if I can look at something honestly and objectively, it's like, he's not. If he doesn't believe he's the greatest rapper, maybe he isn't, I don't know if that's what was the purpose of him saying that. It kind of like, I felt some type of way. It kind of broke my heart a little bit. But ever since I saw that interview, I've been feeling some type of way just about listening to anybody's music. And he, in a way, kind of inspired me to get back into my own music. That's his roundabout way of inspiring me to get back into my own music, then fine. But I'm still kind of just like, about it. I don't know how I feel about it. By all means, say whatever you fucking want to say, Jermaine. Okay? But yeah, because of that, I actually sort of noticed like, okay, maybe I'm getting too deep into this J. Cole fandom anyway. So I turned it all off, and I started making beats again, you guys. I started making beats again. I made, in the last week, really week and a half, I've made three beats. I would say 2 of them are solid fucking bangers. 3 beats. One for damn sure is going to be on the next, if I ever make an album, But I got into that, and I got back into my songwriting. Ever since J. Cole dropped the bomb saying that he doesn't believe that he's that nigga, then I was like, okay, well, maybe that nigga is me. Maybe I am him. Maybe I am she. And I started getting back into songwriting again, and I'm realizing that I actually forgot how to get back into songwriting. As anyone who's a musician or a songwriter, first of all, I'm like a newbie songwriter. I've only started writing my songs. I've been in music pretty much all my life, but I've only started writing and making my own music like legitimately like 5 years ago. Okay. And songwriting especially is like fairly new to me. And I forgot how to start the process of it, because I know every time that I started writing, and I mean like, not actually writing, we use it on our phones now. When I start like getting words out to a song, it starts flowing out. But it's the starting that is always kind of the tricky part for me. Just getting that first line out and then aligning it with the beat and then trying to make it sound good. And then I'm second guessing myself a lot. So yeah, it was fun to sort of just like, I guess, exercise that muscle, that writing muscle these past couple weeks, ever since J. Cole actually fell off. I'm not trying to say that. I love J. Cole. I'm still going to see J. Cole in Phoenix in September, but damn, bro, he kind of let us down when he said that shit. And I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna start writing some new shit. So I started writing. I don't have anything solid. I got some solid new bars, but nothing that's like in solid, stone in any of these songs. It's just like, wow, I just wrote that, and it's a bar, it's a few bars. And, once I just started it, just deciding that I'm going to start writing, then it started flowing out. Okay, so I did this exercise. I don't know what I'm going to call it, but I guess the A to Z exercise. Okay. And my A to Z exercise is I look at a list. I'm kind of like OCD with my music and my beats. So I have a list of all the beats that I've ever made and, just typed out alphabetically listed in my phone from A to Z. And I think my oldest beat was like from 2021. Like I said, I'm just now getting into like making my own music. So 2021 was like my oldest beat to like 2026, like a week ago. And in between that time, I've made like 35 solid beats. I've deleted a lot. I've had a lot of trial and error, but I have 35 solid beats, and I've made all those solid beats into one long track. It's like an hour and a half long. It's almost 2 hours long of just beats that I've made from A to Z. And I did this a couple times this past couple weeks, my A to Z songwriting challenge, where I'll just play every beat that I've ever made from A to Z. It's like 35 beats, almost 2 hours worth of music. And I just start writing to those songs. I don't rewind. I don't pause. I don't go back. I just let it play all the way through, and I'll just write as much as I can to that song while it's on. And then when it's done, then it's done. Don't think, don't delete anything. Just go on to the next song and then write for that song. So and I think that was cool. It's the first time I ever tried that. I did it twice. And what happened was, like, I found that I've come back and I've to these songs that I didn't think I would ever be able to write to, because either the beat was just like so like good, or the beat wasn't just not quite hitting in a way, or didn't make me feel some type of way to where I'm like, okay, what am I going to write about? You know, so I couldn't ever put these words down to the song or to the beat. But when I put myself into that challenge, that exercise where I'm like, okay, just write something, even if it's not rhyming, even if it doesn't make sense. And then the song's playing for like 3 to 5 minutes. So I have 3 to 5 minutes of the beat just going, and I'm actually putting words to this beat that I've never done before. So that was good. I had like 5 new songs that I'm like, dang, I've had those beats for years, mostly because I could never think about what to write, but I just sort of like forced myself to write. So that's a good songwriting exercise. I call it my A to Z songwriting challenge. So thank you, Jermaine. Thank you, J. Cole, for getting me back into my own music, because I guess we really shouldn't be having idols anyway. We really shouldn't be worshiping these motherfuckers anyway. I mean, I still think he's my favorite rapper. I want him to think he's his favorite rapper. I don't think he thinks that. I think he actually said that he doesn't think he's his favorite rapper. But anyway, let's get into these listening stats. I had a good rant right there. I get really excited I'm getting re-excited about my own music again, and I love that. It's, probably just the time of the year. Okay, so between April 13th and April 19th, my top 5 songs played on Spotify. Number 1 was Safety, 17 plays. Told you that was my banger. I don't know why that was my banger. It's a slow come up banger. I didn't like it at first. Literally didn't like it. The fall off as a whole, I would say right off rip, only like 3 songs hit me on the very first listen. If I could be truthful, 3 songs actually hit me on the very first listen of the fall off. And then the whole album is a masterpiece. I've listened to the album hundreds of times over, but different songs come out to me at different times as being a good one, like a golden banger as well. And I just like that about J. Cole's music. It does that a lot. You do have to give it more than one listen. Safety. Who would have thought Safety would be number 1? Of all the times that I've skipped that song, I like the boom bapness of it. Like if you hip hop has like that boom bap. That's like my favorite kind of hip hop. It's old school. It's like East Coast. It's just like original boom bap, and it has like that boom bap vibe to it. I just didn't relate or resonate with the lyrics as much, because I don't have a gay friend who I disowned because they were gay, is half of what that song's about. And then the other half is about all of his other friends dying and just him being caught up on shit that's happening in his hometown, which didn't really resonate with me as much. But yeah, it made me cry this week. It crept up there. It's number 1, 17 plays during April 13th through April 19th. The second highest played song was actually an older J. Cole song from Might Delete Later with 15 plays. Hide your bitch, hide your wives. Yeah. That song was a banger last week. Top 3 song was Only You with Burna Boy with 14 plays. The Let Out was number 4 with 12 plays, and Quick Stop was number 5 with 8 plays. And of course, the top artist for the week was J. Cole. Now, this last week was April 20th, 420 to 426. Top song of the week. And you guys you saw like the top played song was 17 plays. So my listening in general has gone down. A few weeks ago, I had over 300 plays with just one song from the same album. So my listening in general has gone down, but it's still all J. Cole. Number 1 for April 20th through April 26th was Who the Fuck Is You with 6 plays, and then it tied with The Let Out at number 2 with 6 plays. The Let Out has been in the top 5 for 5 weeks now. And this was Safety's debut in the top 5. So yeah, great song. Great album. But if I can speak truthfully, it wasn't a great album from the first time I played it. Like, there was like 3 songs that were great songs from the first time I played it, and then everything else came with time. The top 3 song between April 20th through April 26th was Ocean Way, 6 plays. I Love Her Again with 5 plays was at number 4, and then number 5 was Safety with 5 plays, and they're still tallying up the numbers for April 27th through May 3rd, but as of right now, it's looking like... Oh, now I'm offline, of course. It's looking like What If is going to be, so far, the top song so far, but we'll know that for next week. And yeah, I think that's it. I think that's a solid podcast. I obviously have a lot of editing. Hopefully I got over an hour. Hopefully I got some entertaining rambles and rants up in there, but thank you all for listening. Hopefully the sound quality is good as well. I am so ready for a nap. So ready for a nap. So yeah, we'll see you guys next week.